Hey guys, welcome to my new channel called Born for the Barn. I'm Christian, and this channel is going to be all about the things we're doing here on our 6-acre homestead here in Georgia. But today I want to talk to you about all the things that we did wrong in our first 6 months here. A lot of things went wrong and a few went right. So here I want to share with those 3 things that we did wrong that I hope you can avoid on your new homestead too. Alright, so for this first video of our channel, yes, we're covering all the things that we messed up on. And quite frankly, there are a lot more than the 3 that I'm going to cover in this video. But here are the 3 that I think represent some general principles that you can also take home and apply to your new homestead as well. Now, the first thing that we did wrong is that we did not take the time in those first critical few weeks on our new homestead to really know everything there is to know about the property. Yes, we explored, front to back. We walked it several times. I pretty much walk it every day anyway. And it's only about 6 acres, so it's totally doable to really know every part of the land pretty quickly. But what I didn't take the time to understand for several months was, where's my water shutoff? That seems like an incredibly basic thing, but I promise you this property was a little bit more troublesome than most. For one, the water shutoff to the property was buried several inches underground. So I was out there scratching every day with a rake and eventually with a shovel, trying to poke around to find where my water shutoff valve was, just in case we ever had a big leak on the property. That's something my dad had always stressed on the place that we grew up on. I even went so far as to call the water company when I couldn't find it, and even though they had told me the exact location, I still couldn't find it. It wasn't until my dad came over with a metal detector that we could finally pinpoint the exact location of it and dig several inches into the ground to uncover the box that was there and oddly never touched probably in 20 plus years. But anyway, that's not the only thing to know. So one, I didn't know where the water shutoff valve was for the whole property, but number 2, I didn't know where the other water shutoff valves were for the other peripheral buildings on the property, like this barn. So what happened was, of course, something went terribly wrong. We were gone for Christmas vacation, and I knew that big cold front was coming in around that time, so it was going to get down into the teens while we were away. And like anybody knows with some cold weather experience, you leave your faucets dripping. Unfortunately, that was not enough for an uninsulated barn hitting into the low teens, as this picture demonstrates. Dripping faucets, just the ice was literally building up an icicle backwards. But anyway, that was not near enough to keep our pipes, literally every pipe in this barn, from bursting. So when we came back from vacation, we were met with this strange crackling sound that grew louder as I walked from the house to the barn. And sure enough, that crackling sound ended up being from the water falling down and hitting the cement, as I'll show in a little clip here in just a second. Yeah, it was quite a mess. And now that is our new project with my dad and I to solve. Luckily, I have a dad who's retired and has the time and know-how to help me figure out these little plumbing issues. And yeah, could hire a plumber to do it, but it's a barn. I'm not gonna hire a plumber for barn plumbing. So we'll figure that one out ourselves, and that's a big part of homesteading anyway. So the lesson there is know your property, know it front to back, in and out, every part of it, all the infrastructure that's there, because there will be a disaster one day and you'll have to fix it quickly. And you won't have time to call the water company or the power company to come fix it if it's something critical, like shutting off the water or shutting off the power. All right, number 2 on my list of biggest mistakes on our new homestead is that I didn't put enough thought into fail-safes. And the big example that I have here for this is with our chicken. So I use a big 12-gallon water from Over Easy, and that makes it really nice on me because I am not filling up water every day for the chickens. It stays clean. It's really not a hassle. I usually fill it up once a week, every weekend, and it allows me to go on vacations. But what I didn't account for is that those little nozzles can sometimes break or come a little loose from the chickens pecking at them for a long time, and that's exactly what happened, and all the water drained out and I didn't catch it until the next day. And you might say, okay, that's fine, it's just one day that was gone for, but that is a big deal for your laying hens. And what ended up happening was my chickens went from about 9 eggs a day to 0 overnight because of this issue. If your chickens don't have water, it turns out they don't like it, and neither does egg production. What did I do to remedy this? I bought a second water, because the chances of both of them failing at the same time is very, very small, and that's the kind of risk you should be taking with your chickens, or with any other animals for that matter. Don't rely on a single point of failure for especially something as critical as water. Big lesson learned there. All right, and the last lesson I want to share with you today of things not to do is on your new homestead. Don't rush into trying to plant something right as you get there, trying to hit the season at the latest possible point. Because what happened with me was I spent a little bit of time, a little money putting together a nice garden space, which was a good investment because I wanted to let that sit even if it was just for the next growing season. But what I did was I rushed to try to put peas in the ground before winter came, and that did not work out in my favor in the end. Ultimately, yes, did I learn a little bit about it, about peas and planting and all that sort of thing? Yes, I did. Again, I'm a newcomer to homesteading, and I don't pretend to be an expert in any of these things with you guys. I'm here to share my failures, because that's one thing I'm good at doing. But yes, all my peas died. One, because I probably planted them just a few weeks too late. They're snow peas, so I thought they'd be pretty cold hardy, especially for Georgia. But the other thing I didn't count on was that early cold front that hit us all earlier in winter than we all expected, at least here in the southeast. And that killed them off within the day. So they didn't last long, but it was a learning experience. So I advise you, it's okay to wait a little bit. The garden's not going anywhere. You can wait until the optimal time to plant. But on the flip side of that, I want to say, also don't take it too seriously. Like, this is all just a learning experience, and as long as you're not sinking too much money into that little experiment, it's not a big deal. But yeah, it's a new homestead. It's okay to take your time. Anyway, guys, that's my 3 lessons that I've learned on my new homestead, and things that you should watch out and not repeat. So we had knowing our property from front to back, in and out as best you can. 2, put in fail-safes for the critical infrastructure in your lives and in the lives of your livestock or chickens or whatever kind of animals you have. And thirdly, don't rush to get things haphazardly done on the homestead when waiting might end up with a better result. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by on this first vid of Born for the Barn. I'm Christian. I hope you'll see more of me by subscribing down below and following along with this journey toward homesteading. It is a journey after all. I don't know that any of us ever really achieves the dream, but we're going to try our best to here on this channel, and hope you'll join me in doing so. Again, like that video if you thought this content was helpful or useful, or at least just mildly entertaining. And next time on this channel, I'm going to be showing and telling you a little bit more about some of the other failures that I've already had on this property, on the 6-acre property here in Georgia. Oh, and last thing, be sure to leave a comment below if you have some stories of your own about failures on the homestead, especially if you're a newer homesteader just getting into it. I want to hear what kind of things you guys have struggled with, and what lessons you've learned, so that I can also, take a lesson from you guys and not repeat your mistakes, because that will make me have to make fewer videos like this one. All right, see you guys next time.
We can sit together.